What is surf and turf again? Zoom in right on this. Okay. So, before we start, I brought out a visual representation on what we're dealing with today, just so that I can help you guys understand what I mean by when I want to beef with people. Like, beefing is a word from our generation, right? You know, the, oh, sorry, back hurts generation. Truthfully, I didn't want to have to do this, but it's been bothering me for a while, and I really think that Twitch has gone down a really, really rough path. So, I need to set a lot of my friends straight, and a lot of fellow creators straight, and we need to talk about the elephant in the room. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I've been really trying to figure out what my friends would be like if they were fused with beef. It's been something that's been gnawing at me for about 365 days, 9 hours, and 14 minutes or so. And I had to ask for permission, and I had to talk to a few of these people, and you can ask them. It was a very long and arduous thing, where I asked if I could put beef on them, and some of them went, "The hell?" And I said, "It's not what you think. I just really need to get this off my chest and put it on yours." So, introducing what I would think that every single creator whom I've reached out to and how they would be improved through the use of beef. Let's talk about the visual beef. The visual beef, in my opinion, is a masterpiece because it accentuates everything we love about the female visual pine representation, while also having beef chunks included into the parts to cover everything that I was worried about. The eyes and the toes, the top to bottom, everything there brings too much attention to itself, but the middle part truly is the work of art that we should be looking at together. Coming up next is a friend who we know a lot from the community, and they presented me with an interesting concept. They gave me a backdrop, they gave me a theme, and I went with it. So introducing Beefy Blade. He went with the Riddler costume, and I figured why not find a little bit of sprigs into the beef chunks. We kept the beard. And I think the environment works well. We're in a freezer room, by the way, so everyone here is going to be preserved. This will be preserved for all of eternity, including the beefy friends. So, I think it makes Kami's face stand out a little more. I think that the sprig really matches the ensemble. Now, up next, this is someone who is known for screaming on stream, and someone who has a lot of emotion in what she does, and I asked her, what do you think would be the best representation? She said, what about this emote? And I said, okay, this emote's great, but where's the beef? So I present to you Beeferly. Beeferly, in my opinion, would only make sense if the emotion exuded by Beeferly was made of meat. And as such, not only do we have the Beefus florealis, or the beef flower, as I've now claimed that, and asked the biology council of the world that exists to include in their future botany books. But I figured crying meat doesn't burn that much unless it's salty. But I don't take Zeph as someone who would have a lot of salt on the beef. But I feel like there's so much emotion, so she's overflowing with beef. Next up is a lumbersexual. For those who don't know, it is a very sexy Canadian man. And he coined himself as the lumbersexual after, I think I said, or someone in chat said it nonetheless, but he's a very handsome man. He's about to get married soon. And seeing as he is French-Canadian, I thought it would be exceptionnel if we went a little more français on his ass. So introducing Beeftorius. He's always known for having sort of these interactions and having that little bit more playful side to him. So I decided to model him in sort of a more playful way. That is a beef beret, for those curious. That is a beef burger. And he's very free range, one could argue. I'm not going to point out what makes him free range, but always a good pal, always shows off the best of the beers and the best of himself. So I think that this really accentuates a lot about Beeftorius. Up next is someone who has been on this channel before, but not in person, so it was a little difficult to try and model her after like after all of the charity work that she does on her own channel, and then she comes on here for the Pokemon game show and everything like that, I think this really does demonstrate a really important piece of her character. So introducing Little Beef You Are, aka Zoe, this is her cat, Gizmo. And Gizmo, I thought he was a little bit of a pink belly, so I gave him a little bit of a beef belly. And he's got a beef blep as well. She's got a beef blep, sorry. She's got a beef blep and a beef ear and stuff like that. And, yeah, I think this really, like, she has a lot of fun on the channel, and the horror, I'm sure everyone, if they had a cat made of meat, that it would be horror-based. Like one of those, like, going through those slaughterhouses, but everything is alive, like, you know, like when they do, like, the human, like, the animal masks on humans, and I almost punched them out that one time and got called out at that Canada's Wonderland, the point is. But I think the beef blep really is the standing out point here, so claps all around for Gizmo and Little Beef You Are. Next up, this is where things got a little bit more difficult. So now we're working with VTubers. Now, flesh tubing is saved for people like myself with the face on the camera. That doesn't mean that other people cannot have flesh on their mind. So introducing Cell Beef Mind, where I thought for Cell, I feel like she has that conundrum between whether or not she wants to be on the good side of the beef or the bad side of the beef, the evil side of beef. So not only does she have beef buns, but I also think that she would sort of have the evil and good. So I decided to model, in VTuber fashion, the Minecraft beef as an angel and demon. And I think that just shows a coming together of the character that Cell has. She's very diverse in her character, and that just means that she is very in touch with her human self. And I think that's why it was very important to make sure that the beef was as prominent as possible. It's a steak. As well as in the most important parts, which is, of course, the mind, hence the buns, and then the head sits on the shoulders, therefore the beef, and there's Cell Beef Mind. Now, coming up next is another guy who has a lot of animation. We're going back into flesh tubers. I didn't know where to put the beef without being weird, so here's Lloyd.beef. He's just a cow now. He told me don't have a cow, man, and I took that personally. I will tell you that this particular work took me about 4-5 crop cuts to make this work, and I kind of like the way that it turned out. I think he is just all beef. He's like 100% Canadian beef. And as such, he looks like the milk beef cow guy. But the point is, he's now part cow, part man. He is now just beef. Okay, now next, this one's going to be a little bit more difficult to explain, so I'm going to show it off first. This is the Millie beef. Now, the Millie beef was a bit tough because, again, we're in the open mouth section of the masterpieces that we were working on. And I don't know what Millie eats, but I do know that Millie would look really good with a burger on where her headphones are. So I decided to build the burger that I think that she would eat, which would be 2 patties, because I don't think she's a single patty person. I think she's a double beef person with a pickle, not cut, whole pickle, and a slice of American cheese. Now, I don't know if she would be into it. I'm not into American cheese. I don't even understand what the hell American cheese is. It just looks like cheddar cheese to me, but apparently it's different. I also decided to try and find some burger buns that could totally go, and it just didn't work. And as such, the Millie beef is just kind of an entire package. However, this didn't fit with the entire genre of Millie, and by such I mean she's British, so I wanted to make a British burger. So what really completes this is I put bangers and mash at the bottom of the burger. So now we have not only beef, but the togetherness of beef with other meat. Just to really mash it all together. And I think this is the perfect Millie beef burger. I think the other thing too is it just had a little bit of extra space. And I think more beef is more better. I'd have to ask Maxolotl, but that's a weird question to ask her boyfriend. But instead, I would rather just show him the Millie beef. Take with that what you like. Now, I just recently met this person. He's super awesome. I did commentary for him over a blindfolded Pokemon Red Run. And he gave me a very nice, lovely smile. And I thought, you know what? That beard is glorious. What if his beard was mincemeat? Introducing Shifty's beef. The beard is glorious. And I really think that we could sort of show the the untamed nature of a beard by just putting meat in it. You can interwove it and sort of let it stand out. It shines. It'll glisten in the sun as you know, like some people get stuff stuck in their beard, but like, what if you just had oil? And then that way you walk by someone, they're sitting on a bench, and they go, man, my shoulder really hurts. So you go, I've got you. Shifty walks up with a Shifty beef beard, and he just goes, and then now you just have oil. You can massage that person's back out, with consent, of course. But really, it's beautiful. I think it just really brings out the sparkle in his eye for someone who plays blindfolded. So there you go, Shifty's beef. Now, the lore of the beefverse does get a little deep, and it all starts with Sky. This is Beef Sky. Now, the weird thing is, Sky, I don't know the full lore behind her, but I do know that Sky's lore is that she actually defeats the Beef Brigade. Now, the Beef Brigade, you might be asking who that is. The reason why I'm designing my friends as beef models is because the Beef Brigade came to me, and Big Beef said, we need you to sell out the beef. And I said, I'm not all about that, I'm a beef with you. And such as beefing on Blue Sky was meant to distract them, so now they are currently waiting for me to send messages selling out Big Beef on Blue Sky today. However, the Beef Brigade's going to catch on to this, so I need to show you that in the future, which I have seen into, Sky, she is the heroine of stopping the Beef Brigade. However, there was an unfortunate bonking accident, and she lost to the Hamlets. The Hamlets will take over the world. Please, watch out for your sliced ham. They have concealed weapons. Preservatives. They're preserving a knife. She was winning so hard, and then she got slapped with some ham. The Hamlets took it over. But I digress, because there's someone else we have to talk about. Now, this person also resisted the Beef Brigade and could not be slapped together with beef. This is Shawnee. Shawnee loves sheep. How do you take a man who loves sheep so much and force him to be fused with cow? That can't be the way. It simply cannot be the way that we do this. So I want to introduce to you Muttony. Now, I tried to maintain the look that Shawnee had, but it was really hard with sheep and lamb and all this. So I tried my best. I took a lamb shank and made his arms into lamb shanks. And then I figured, well, Ampharos needs to be in there somewhere. And I gave him the glasses so he could still see. So, you know, let's just say they're called wise glasses. So his intelligence and his accuracy goes up by 10%. But I think the lamb curry would really sit well with. Of course, Muttony would never eat the lamb curry. It's to show you how beautiful the form of lamb can be when everybody else is just beef. Like, think about all these people who are like resisting the beef and all this stuff. But Muttony is here to stand out as an outlier, but a welcomed outlier. Not an outsider, a visionary for the future of beef, being cow-sheep fusions. Now, speaking of fusions, there is a man who's a hairy toe as a VTuber. Now, this man was really difficult to mold, to sculpt into the perfect form of beefhood. And the problem with this is, this could have gone two ways. So I present to you both. This is Hairy Beef. So Harry is unique in the sense that he can mold himself into any form. And he can look amazing in any form. So I had a conundrum. Do we want Hairy Beef or Beef Dwarf? Because really, to me, Hairy Beef shows off the good side of Harry, but Beef Dwarf shows off the good side of Dwarf. So I said, okay, what if we did Beef? And we create something beyond what anyone can see. In fact, if you can see it, this is not a reflection. This is an entire persona split into itself. It's refracted and fused together to create Beef, the best of both worlds. You get the perfect side of Beef Dwarf with the perfect side of Hairy Beef. Now, we could go with boring version of Beef, but I thought this wasn't enough of neither hairy nor dwarf. So I introduced to you Beef. This next one I must warn you, your beef children are not allowed to see this. And I regretted this, and I was thinking about this, and I'm going, is this too far? Is this going to bring too much angst and too much excitedness to the chat because they don't know this person very well, maybe, and there's gonna be, like, their closest friends here, and it's gonna be really, really, really awkward if I get this wrong. So I tried my best. I worked around what I think captures the glory and the honor and the amazingness of this picture. This is Shiratora beef. Now, note that I have removed everything that I was worried about, alright? Again, the beef beret is back, but there were some pieces here that I really thought would be better as beef, and I struggled because I felt like I had to talk to other people and really let them know, like, this is me trying to be as respectful as possible with these pictures. I had to make sure that the best parts of Tora are demonstrated, and that the model itself is all on display. Beefsks. Now, Beefsks is a really hard name to say, and it's not our fault, but Beefsks is just the way it has to be. In case you were curious, this was Hamtaro, but it is now Beef Taro. Jarvis. Enhance. And thank you for coming to Beefin' on Blue Sky.